Long Gone Days is a project that's been in the work for many years, with a decent following throughout the original demo launch, crowdfunding, and early access release. Now, with the final game out, it's time to see the days through. In Long Gone Days, you play as Rock, who was born and raised in the core and underground, as in subsurface, not secret, but also it is a secret, paramilitary. He's been trained since birth to be a sniper, yet his first deployment only comes from the random chance that your superior has broken his arm. On your first mission, you take out several enemies with ease, but when looking for stragglers, you come across a kid. This is when you learn your true mission, and soon after, defect. The first aspect of gameplay you'll experience is sniping, aiming for opponents with limited time and ammo. Thankfully, these segments are pretty easy and don't show up very often after the beginning. The game is largely narrative focused, with fights being few and far between with set encounters. These fights are turn-based, allowing up to the standard 4 party members at a time. Influenced by how real snipers work, you can choose to aim at different body parts. Aiming for the head has a lower chance of hitting but deals the most damage. Hitting the arms or equivalent rolls a small chance to induce paralysis, and the main body is the easiest to hit, but can sometimes feel not worth the little damage it deals. In practice, however, I was able to land headshots frequently enough that I only aimed elsewhere if I needed to stall the enemy. I found paralysis so rare to trigger without special items. One of the characters, Ivan, is a pacifist, so he'll refuse to throw grenades or equip a gun, but he is a very useful support character, with his defense buffs being the only way I got through some of the boss encounters. There didn't seem to be levels so much as after certain points in the story characters would learn new skills, and I might find better equipment through exploration. After a successful fight, you can choose between getting an item, which might be something for battle, healing, or a unique piece of equipment, or restoring your skill points. These points are hard to come by, as there were hardly any parts in the story where they were restored for me, and barely any items to do so. Therefore, I had to carefully choose after a fight when to restore my team's SP. As you make your way away from the core and uncover their true mission, you'll travel through various countries in Europe. One problem, you only speak English. Thankfully, you'll befriend locals, or at least people who know the language, and they will interpret for you. Before that, you won't be able to understand what NPCs are saying unless you happen to know it yourself. Although the few pieces of dialogue I checked did seem to be machine translatable at least. There are many side quests in this game, and as you move between locations some might be missed. Most of these are basic fetch quests, but some involve making the correct dialogue decision, so while I finished one quest in Germany, I lost morale for my answer. Morale is a system that rewards you for doing the right thing in side quests, as well as encouraging your friends. In the boss fights, I'd often be spoken to, and defending my beliefs in the right way would increase the team's morale. This would affect the ending, and I'm not sure of much else. Apparently, in the prior version of the game, the morale system was in place of skill points, which sounds a bit annoying. There are a few puzzles throughout, but my hand is held for literally everything. I'd already noticed a gap in the wall, but the game made sure to stop me and have the characters discuss the breeze they were feeling, what it could potentially be, and how to solve it. In that case, it feels pointless even having puzzles, with only a couple of secrets not being blatantly pointed out to me. The music can get a bit too loud sometimes. I know there's no voice acting, but I am still trying to read. I did like the few songs in the soundtrack, once again fitting into the category of appropriate for each moment, but I probably wouldn't listen to it elsewhere. The game world is in a pixel art style, with proportionate characters that have simple faces and enough detail to make the world seem real. Meanwhile, the portraits and battle screens are illustrated in a nice clean style, with the enemies being displayed and having constant slight movements. Special animations for attacks cut in over screen, and there's some flashing effects for damage. The battle backgrounds look great, especially the lighting. Very rarely there were some slightly animated cutscenes, but most things happen through dialogue or in the world. There weren't too many enemy designs, but I did get to fight things like drones and one of those robot dogs with a turret thanks to the modern setting. I had some minor bugs like the portraits not showing the correct look once the character was revived, but I didn't have any crashes or things that actually impacted my gameplay. The only loading that occurred was whenever I opened the game, but between locations I didn't have any of that. This story isn't afraid to get into political themes, which, well, it wouldn't work very well if it avoided it. Especially once we reach Germany, with the themes of immigration sentiment and political parties being used by outside influences. It doesn't, outside of puzzles, insult the player's intelligence by pointing out the obvious allusions. While I only got a bit less than 15 hours with the characters, most of them got a decent amount of development and everyone felt like they belonged. I didn't have any preconceptions about the game before experiencing it for myself, which, given the changes to the game since early access, is likely a good thing. The hand-holding was grating, but the overall story is good, mostly grounded, and the combat was decently balanced with every party member being viable outside of their strong connections. If you're looking for a narrative-focused RPG that touches on modern issues that have been long ongoing, Long Gone Days is a great option, and I give it a 7 out of 10. Let me know if you're interested in this game, and if so, check out my interview with the main developer on RPGSite.net. Thanks for watching, bye!